Hello, and welcome to another edition of Teaching English is Fun, the podcast for teachers by teachers. And it's also for students and anyone else who wants to follow along here. My last podcast, the sound wasn't right, so I am doing this again and seeing if I can get the sound up to par here. So let's go ahead and go through this. What this is called is Which Path Do You Choose? And I normally present some sort of class or something for students to follow along with or teachers to learn so that they can teach your students. This is something a little bit fun, but you can also learn some English as you're doing this. So it is a fun personality quiz. So let's follow along. By the way, if you're interested in learning more, you can always go to teachinenglishisfun.com. My name is Jim, and I've got all kinds of content on there for you. All right, let's go ahead and begin. Which path do you choose? All right, imagine that you are walking to your boyfriend or girlfriend's house. Now, you're walking there. There are two roads to get there. One is a straight path, which takes you there very quickly, but it's so plain and so boring. You just fall asleep while you're walking. Now, by the way, you're walking by yourself. Students sometimes misunderstand that. So you're walking all by yourself to go to your boyfriend or girlfriend's house. Now, the other path, however, is curvy, and it's full of wonderful sights along the way, but it takes quite a while to get there. Now, you can see like maybe there's some ducks in the pond. You can see a rabbit nibbling on some carrots. There's lots of beautiful flowers everywhere. It's really beautiful, right? So, which path do you choose? The short, boring one, or the long but beautiful, sight-filled one? All right. Now, think about that. And if you're out there with some of your friends and you want to practice English, you guys can talk together. Or you can also just come up with what you think. Like, just practice. Say it out loud. Now, what do you think that means? The short path or the long path? All right, let's go ahead to the next question right here. Now, on the way, you see two rose bushes. One is full of white roses. One is full of red roses. You decide to pick 20 roses for your boyfriend or girlfriend. Now, you can pick any combination that you choose, but it has to equal 20. For example, you can choose all white or all red. Or you can choose 10 white, 10 red, go 50-50, right? You can have 15 white and 5 red. You could also pick like 2 white and 18 red. Any kind of combination. The only thing is that the total has to equal 20. So, what color combination do you choose? And what do you think that means? Do you think that has any special meaning? See if you can guess. I'm going to go over the answers at the end of the quiz. All right, let's move on to the next question. Finally, you get to your boyfriend or girlfriend's house. Now, you ring the bell and the maid answers. You can ask the maid to go get your loved one, or you may go get them yourself. Which action do you choose? Do you want to ask the maid to do it, or do you do it yourself? You're lucky because they have a maid. Wow, they must be rich. Now, so you can either wait there, have the maid go get them, or you can go look for them yourself. So, which one do you choose? Go ahead and talk about that, decide, and let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. You guys got a chance to see some of my messages. All right, here we go. All right, now you go up to your girlfriend or boyfriend's room. No one is there. Now, you can leave the roses by the windowsill or on the bed. So where do you put the roses? By the bed or window? And see that lovely picture I have right there? That is a window, and in front of it is like a little shelf. That's what we call a windowsill, if you don't know. So where do you put them? On the bed or by the windowsill? All right, and then going on to the next one. Later, it is time for bed. And that right there is my cute little dog named Bricky. So you and your loved one go to sleep in separate rooms, of course. Now, you wake up in the morning and you go to your boyfriend or girlfriend's room to check up on him or her. Now, you enter the room. Is he or she awake or sleeping like my little doggy there? So do you guys understand? So you wake up the next morning, you go to their room, open the door. Are they awake, looking at you with a smiling face, or are they still sleeping, maybe snoring loudly? So which one is it? And what do you think that means? Do you think that has any meaning? All right, going on to number 6. Well, the weekend's over, or your time together is over, and it's time to go home. So you start to head back. Now, once again, you're walking by yourself. You're not walking together with anyone. So you can take either road home now. You take the plain, boring one that gets you there fast, or you can take the curvy, sight-filled one with the ducks and everything else that just casually take your time walking home. So which do you choose? Take the short road or the long road back home? All right. Now, let's go ahead and figure out, what do these mean? Now, here is the analysis right here. Analysis means, anyway, kind of the meaning of something, right? If you're a scientist and you analyze something and try to figure something out. So if you're a doctor and a psychologist and you're checking out someone's brain, you may analyze them and try to figure out what this means. Okay. Here we go. Now, which road do you choose to take to your loved one's house? The roads represent your attitude towards falling in love. So if you chose the short one, you fall in love quickly and easily. However, if you chose the long one, that means that you take your time and you do not fall in love easily. So, which one did you choose, short or long? And do you think it fits? All right, and number 2, what combination of roses do you choose to give your love? Now, that right there, the number of red roses represent how much you expect to give in a relationship, So the number of white roses represent how much you expect in a relationship. So what that means is, it's not so much that is the reality, but that's how much you expect, maybe subconsciously, right? So if you gave all red, then that means you can give 100%, but you don't really need anything in return. However, if you gave all white, that means that you want to get a lot back, but you may not give anything, right? So therefore, and here's another explanation. If you chose all red and only one white, that means you give 90% in the relationship, but you only expect about 10% back. And some people, they do 50-50, so give and take. I give you half, you give me half, right? Like that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to question number 3. Now, do you ask the maid to get your love, or do you do it yourself? Now, this question shows your attitude in handling relationship problems. If you would ask the maid to get your loved one, then you may beat around the bush. And if you look down at the bottom of that page right there, beat around the bush means that you don't like to come directly to the point, right? You may hint at something, but you don't openly say it. For example, you may tell someone, stop beating around the bush and just tell me what you want. So if somebody comes up and they're like, could you, and they talk about something else which is not really that problem, right? Not dealing with that problem, we can say that they're beating around the bush. Now, if you went and got your loved one yourself, that means that you're pretty direct. If there's a problem, you confront it and you deal with it right away. You want to work it out right away. So, you don't like to have any problems. So that would be that one right there. So, and oh, by the way, and I missed the other part right there. So you ask a third party. Third party is like the maid, right? So you have the maid go get your loved one. So you subconsciously, maybe you have somebody else, kind of in between you. Tell her this. Well, tell him this. You have some third person, right? Have you ever had a fight with somebody and you didn't want to talk to them and you had a person in between? That's what that means. So you try to avoid problems. Actually, you don't want problems, so you try not to talk about anything that could be a problem, which sometimes makes problems, right? Okay, now let's go on to number 4. All right, number 4, there's my lovely little dog again. Where do you put the roses? Do you put them on the windowsill or the bed. And I think there's a typo on this page, but I forgot to change it. The placement of the roses indicates how often you'd like to see your boyfriend or girlfriend. Placing the roses on the bed means you need lots of reassurance in the relationship. And if possible, you'd like to see them every day, right? So that means that you just want to see them more often, right? Doesn't mean you love them differently, right? Either one. It just means that some people need to see people more often than every day. Now, placing them on the window show that you don't expect or need to see your loved one too often. Oh, I guess that's not incorrect. That's just I read it wrong the first time I did this. So what that means is, you can see them maybe once a week or twice a week and you're okay, right? But if someone puts them on the bed, maybe they want to see them almost every day if they can, right? So moving along, number 5. Now, do you find your loved one asleep or awake? Now, if you find your boyfriend or girlfriend asleep, what that means is that you accept them the way they are. So you don't want them to change, because they're sleeping, right? You don't want them to be awake. But finding them awake means you expect them to change for you. So, and I've always heard this joke that men often marry a woman hoping that she never changes, but she does. And vice versa, the opposite, right? Women marry a man hoping that she can change him, but he never changes, right? So that's a funny little thing there. Okay, and if you go to my website, by the way, I also have that in like an audio podcast, but I actually say it incorrect. So that time I got it correct. Well, bye-bye, Brick. Here we go to number 6. Now it's time to go home. Which road do you choose to go home? The short or long one? That now represents how long you stay in love. So if you chose the short one, it means you fall out of love easily. Now, if you chose the long one, that means you tend to stay in love for a long time. All right. Well, go ahead and talk about that with your friends, with your teacher, whoever you want. Share this with many people. And just remember, my name is Jim. There I am. That's a picture my wife drew. So notice, 고쟁이, as they say in Korea, big nose. So now, and remember, if you want to find more great ideas or some lessons, go to teachinenglishisfun.com. That's all one word and then .com. And you can find all sorts of stuff right there. So thank you for listening, and I will talk to you all later.